right, welcome back everybody. And as you probably already know, another one of ours has been attacked yet again. Now I'm sure by now you've all heard about Savannah, aka her Patriot Voice, being attacked by Brianna Rivers.
You have a channel?
Yeah, we're doing some interviews today.
I love your skin tone too.
Thank you. Such a good vibe.
Of course.
Well, awesome. So we're asking people's opinion today on Planned Parenthood. Are you familiar with them?
Yes.
Okay.
A pro-life activist getting sucker punched in April.
Savannah Craven Antao.
Savannah Craven Antao left battered and bruised simply for asking questions and being an advocate for the unborn.
My auntie didn't tell me.
My auntie told me, you think these biblical writings are all just, what, off the brick? Like, you can't be that naive.
There are over 40 men that actually wrote the Bible.
Oh my God, you one of those.
That's just the history. That's just the history of Jesus Christ and the Bible.
It's not. We started from Pangea.
So what does the Bible say about human life?
The Big Bang Theory. Our entire life is science and math, and I think you're an idiot if you don't think it is.
So you went from saying that my outfit was really cute to saying I'm an effing idiot. That's so mean.
But I think that your point of view is very obstructed, and I think that you just don't understand the magnitude of having a child.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
But before we get into all of that, I just want to say this. Links to her social media will be down in my description area. Her YouTube channel is also down there as well. And I strongly encourage everyone watching right now to go ahead and pause the video and take a minute to subscribe to her and follow her other social media accounts as well. It's time to show the other side that we won't riot, defund the police, or tear and burn down our own city. But what we will do is band together and support one another in our times of need. Now let's get into it.
On April 3rd, 2025, I, Savannah Craven Antao, was brutally assaulted in the streets of Harlem while conducting interviews on Planned Parenthood.
So to better understand, first let's take a look at who is Savannah Craven Antao. Well, she's 23 years old, and from what I can tell, she was born and raised in New York. She's a pro-life activist and journalist, known for her street interviews and advocacy work.
Here to talk about what led to the attack and how she's doing now is the woman who always stands up for her beliefs only to be attacked for it. That's what the left does, folks, because they hate it when they're wrong. Please welcome Savannah Craven Antao, YouTuber and pro-life activist. Savannah, thank you so much for joining us.
We need to protect the children for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here for the kids.
So you're pro-life?
I am pro-life. Not pro-life. I'm pro-choice.
What about protecting the children?
I'm a transgender woman and I am here to be visible. Who are you?
You got like triple vax though, right?
I was running on my original 2 boosters at the time.
Probably get another one just to be safe.
I got one back last December.
What if Donald Trump was watching right now? What would you say to him?
Trans rights. Fuck Trump.
You shouldn't be embarrassed for being white just because some white people have done bad things. Like but some black people have done horrible things. And what year did we start living in multiple realities?
2020, to be obvious, but like
the left screams the names of drug addicts and people who have tried to grape people or who have graped people. They're deporting criminals, people who shouldn't be in the country.
Criminals, honey.
If you come here illegally, you're a criminal. People. George Floyd, who held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach. This was not a good man. They try to make him out like he was a good father, that he was dedicated to his girlfriend or his wife. He was not. He was a drug-addicted piece of crap, basically.
I think you're just trying to be divisive right now.
They were literally burning down black-owned businesses.
Oh, I know.
Yet they want to scream Black Lives Matter.
I agree with that.
They want to scream Black Lives Matter, yet they support an organization, which is just the abortion industrial complex, that kills over 400,000 black babies every single year. Thank you for having me.
What goes through your mind when you receive so much hatred to the point where you're physically assaulted simply because you are advocating for the rights of the unborn?
It is absolutely insane that there are people among us walking outside on the streets, but abortion is violence, therefore it creates violence.
Did you see it coming? Has this ever happened to you before?
I have been spat on and of course cussed out. I mean, that just kind of comes with how divisive this issue is in our country. But I never expected her to lay a hand on me. There was no obvious buildup, but honestly, it was a straight, like a light switch went off and then boom, right in the face.
You clearly must have hit a nerve. Do you think she needs God in her life? Because it seems pretty demonic for her to do something like that.
Violence is never the answer. That's something that even a 3-year-old child would know.
But due to an error by DA Alvin Bragg's office, that attacker is now off the hook.
Wow.
This got me more interested into looking into why. And who is this DA Alvin Bragg? How could he miss out on an opportunity to help a woman in need? And also, this would have been such an easy shut and close case with all the evidence clear in 4K footage.
The entire shocking interaction was caught on camera by my husband, leaving no doubt that the assailant, Brianna J. Rivers, was not only guilty of aggravated assault, but also exulting over her own vicious criminal act.
So Alvin Leonard Bragg Jr., Democrat, 51 years old, born October 21st of 1973. Grew up in Harlem, New York. He also went to Harvard University and got a BA, which is a Bachelor's of Arts degree, and he also got a JD, or a Doctor of Law.
And a spokesperson for the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, telling the Post this quote, "Every victim deserves their day in court, and our office has reached out to apologize to Ms. Craven Antao for the unacceptable error of missing the discovery deadline."
But now this is where Mr. Alvin Bragg's story just starts to get a little bit more interesting, all right? Follow me. While at Harvard, he was the editor of the Harvard Civil Rights, Civil Liberties Law Review. And after graduating from law school, Bragg spent a year as a law clerk for Judge Robert P. Patterson Jr. of the U.S. District Court.
All of the evidence was there. I mean, the full 20 plus minutes video of us talking, her attacking me unprovoked, and you guys dropped this case? It was shocking.
Then he went on to join a law firm as an associate, where his work focused on white-collar crime, fraud, and civil rights issues. Now let's go ahead and skip some of the more boring career stuff and get straight into the parts that start making his story a little bit weird, all right? The year is now 2017, and Eric Schneiderman, then serving as Attorney General, appointed Bragg Chief Deputy Attorney General of New York. Things are starting to heat up a little bit. Bragg ran the Criminal Justice and Social Justice divisions, overseeing lawsuits brought by the state against the one and only Donald J. Trump.
This is the same district attorney office that prosecuted Daniel Penny, but wants to let off my attacker with all the video evidence right off the hook with a slap on the wrist. It's disgusting. I have a question for Alvin Bragg. If I was your daughter, if I was your wife, would you have done the same thing? I think not.
Now remember, I just mentioned the guy by the name of Eric Schneiderman, the one that appointed Bragg. Well, his story is even darker. But he also plays a role in this whole scheme because remember, he is the one that appointed Bragg Chief Deputy Attorney General of New York in the first place. So I think because of that, he deserves at least a smidget of our attention, right? Well, let's give it to him. So Eric Trad Schneiderman, you know, I'm tired of saying Schneiderman. Let's go with something a little bit more easy and fun to say. So how about Slenderman? Yeah, I like that. I think that fits better. Slenderman. So Mr. Slenderman was born December 31st of 1954. And he is an American lawyer or politician who served as the 65th Attorney General of New York from 2011 until his resignation in May of 2018. We're not going to leave that little detail out. We're going to get to his vile resignation and why in just a few moments. First, I want to go ahead and jump straight into why I figured he is somewhat important to the whole grand scheme of this story in the first place.
So the Manhattan DA's office confirming to the New York Post that it had dropped the second-degree assault charge back in July due to a, quote, unacceptable error of missing a discovery deadline, meaning the prosecutor assigned to the case did not turn over the evidence in the case to the defense as required.
So Schneiderman was the chief sponsor of the Rockefeller drug law reforms. Those of you that ain't familiar with that, in short, it reduces long mandatory minimum sentences and allocates funds for alternatives to incarcerations. All right.
Over the next few weeks, the office of the New York District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, infamous for its two-tiered system of justice that favors criminals over victims, failed to pursue the case.
Mr. Slenderman was instrumental in pushing for a tougher fraud settlement with large banks over illegal foreclosure practices. Along with California Attorney General. Can we all guess who this California Attorney General was? Well, one day she was Indian, the next day she was Asian, and then all of a sudden she turned into a black queen. Is that enough of a guess for you? Kamala Harris. And I think we can all guess by now who this lawsuit was against, because we're starting to see the pattern, right? This is where Mr. Slenderman's story starts to take a bit of a darker turn. Now, remember that he resigned back in 2018. Well, let's go ahead and get into the details of why.
But we see what happened to my late mentor, Charlie Kirk. He was silenced, shot in the neck because they wanted to silence his voice.
The New Yorker reported that 4 women had accused him of physical abuse. The women said that Slenderman had choked, hit, or violently slapped them, all without their consent. The actress added that Slenderman spat on her, choked her, and called her his brown little slave. Ordered her to call him master and say that she was his property, and demanded that she find other women who would be willing to engage in some menage a trois.
The left and so many of these demonic people, I believe that they have been taken over spiritually by demonic forces.
Now, the other 2 women alleged that Slenderman engaged in a pattern of alcohol abuse and that he had even threatened to kill him or kill them if they even tried to end their respective relationships with him.
They want to silence our voices. The same people that scream about banning guns are using guns to go and hurt people and kill them. This is the messed up, backwards world that we are living in right now. Our country, America's not supposed to be this way. And if we retract and don't speak out, it's just going to continue.
They confirmed these women's allegations with photographs of wounds and bruises, as well as statements from friends in whom these women had confided in after the assaults. What a slimy little Slenderman. Now, Governor Andrew Slomo assigned Madeline, but he assigned her to investigate the possible criminal charges against Slenderman. This Madeline lady is a Democrat, by the way. So I'm pretty sure that we can all guess what the results of her so-called investigation might have been. On November 8th of 2018, she decided that Slenderman would not be prosecuted. Now, she went ahead and went on record to say that although she believes the victims in this case, but it's because of the statute of limitations that preclude criminal charges. Isn't that interesting? the statute of limitations. Well, what about the statute of limitations for Donald Trump?
That's unbelievable.
Wow, it is absolutely disgusting. And by the way, Biden administration threw the book at pro-life protesters who were peacefully protesting. Many of them got years in jail. They were only let out because President Trump pardoned them.
Chainley, thank you very much.
And no one is safe. It's not just conservatives. If you're a woman, if you are a reporter, if you are someone who wants to just go out there and speak your mind, you are not safe. You cannot depend on the police to help you, and you definitely can't depend on Alvin Bragg's DA office to bring you justice.
Now, I understand, everybody, that this is a lot of information to take in. But trust me when I say that we have to keep digging, because there's a whole lot more to be found.
And I reached out to the DA and I said, how could this be possible? Unfortunately for me, I have had to watch my attackers' Instagram stories for the past 6 months because I couldn't depend on the DAs to do it. And
so now let's go ahead and change the station back over to Mr. Bragg. Oh no, Mr. Bragg, we haven't forgotten about you. Come here. Bragg went ahead and decided to go ahead and pick up the torch right where Slenderman left off, wasting little to no time to gladly follow in the footsteps of someone as twisted as this slimy Slenderman. On January 4th, 2022, 3 days after Bragg took office, he announced that his office would no longer prosecute low-level offenses such as fare evasion, resisting arrest, prostitution, and cannabis-related misdemeanors. He also decided to seek lesser charges for burglaries and store robberies.
Well, we're now learning the case against her attacker has been dropped because the Manhattan DA's office missed a key filing deadline.
On February 23rd of 2022, he started an investigation of his own. We all know who these investigations are targeted towards. Targeted it into Donald Trump. In my opinion, this right here, I think, is directly connected to Savannah and her situation.
Rivers was arrested and reportedly charged with felony assault. But after an interview with 2 prosecutors, I was informed that the felony had been downgraded to a misdemeanor, despite indisputable video evidence of brutal assault and battery, producing significant injury, trauma, and resulting in over $3,000 in medical bills. Mom Donnie being mayor alongside Alvin Bragg possibly being the district attorney after, this next election, it's going to be hell on earth.
So now that we've went ahead and showed you guys the pattern that these people, these so-called leaders of New York have, let's go ahead and let's talk about Brianna J. Rivers, Savannah's attacker.
And now a law firm representing Craven Antao plans to file a civil lawsuit against Rivers. Guys.
Now, Brianna J. Rivers is 30 years old. I couldn't find an exact birthday or a birthplace, but we can assume that she was more than likely born and raised in New York City because that is where this incident took place.
The light that Savannah is shining me in is so false. I am so polite and friendly. I'm not volatile. It really takes a lot, for anything like this to come out of me.
Now, she was arrested shortly after this whole entire ordeal, but her charges were never filed by Mr. DA Alvin Bragg here. So eventually they got dismissed.
I'm very upset that I allowed this woman to railroad me into becoming so angry. I would have declined speaking with her had she led with the interview's premise, or had I known that Savannah's entire rhetoric is to rage bait, infiltrate, and manipulate people that she invites on her platform to interview and then forces her ideologies down their throats.
Now it seems, though, that Brianna has been getting a little bit of backlash of her own from this whole situation. But what she decides to do is start publicly shaming anyone who speaks out or who has an opinion that she does not agree with, including body shaming this woman and saying some not so ladylike things about this person here. She also made a post stating that she lost her job due to this video going public and has resulted to selling bikes, because that's what's in this post here. I'm not really sure what's going on. But she also states that Savannah and her followers had her GoFundMe closed.
Sorry, I wrote something down just because I don't want to miss any of these points, and I don't want my words or anything else to you know, just turn it to something else. Yeah, so she professionally rage baited me. Then, yeah, this video, as of now, has altered my life drastically. The internet is literally making me a political martyr. Savannah has controlled this narrative definitely for too long. People are calling me a leftist and a delusional Democrat. I am being cyberbullied and body shamed by not only Savannah, but her thousands of supporters.
So she started a GoSendGo and a PayPal. But from my understanding of the GoFundMe rules, they don't allow GoFundMes for violent offenders. And there's clear video proof for anybody out there that wants to go see it. Links to the uncut version of the video will be down in my description area. She also claims that she has been getting doxxed, receiving a whole lot of hate mail, and even death threats. Although I do feel and agree with that she's just getting the consequences to her actions. The one thing I don't agree with is threatening her life, her friends, her family, or anything like that. But Brianna went ahead and put out a very sideways, fake little apology. And this is just her way of trying to pretend in the public eye that she is being the bigger person. And it was a very weak, sad attempt. I mean, honestly, it was pathetic. And she even took to make a whole entire freestyle rap song.
Savannah Craven really craving for attention and of my name, so I really have to mention that you's a lame, but really this your lane. You doing interviews, but trying to make people look insane while they're saying what they're saying. And really, I don't get it though. She said, where did it go wrong? But the girl antagonized me for like 20 minutes long, and I'm still standing strong. Got my city here behind me. And all of a sudden, she act like she was trying to find me. Once she got my at, the girl blocked me on all that, so I couldn't see the defamatory things she's been saying behind my back. And yeah, it's really tragic. I'm really sorry that I had to let her have it, but it really gets like that in these New York streets. How dare you come around trying to rage bait me? You don't know me from a hole in the wall, trying to sit here and stand on your 10 like you're tall. I am not with that shit. Hate it had to be you, but
we're supposed to believe her so-called apology.
She had a very weak, fake apology that she put up, saying that the reason that she attacked me was because I provoked her. Doesn't matter what I said to her. There's no reason to ever resort to violence and put your hands on someone. You can always just walk away.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some other public opinions about this whole entire ordeal.
Do you ever want to question how backwards this world is right now? This lady, guess which one of them has raised $9,000 towards their legal funds since they were arrested? The one who committed the crime. Now imagine if my community would invest in victims and not the people actually perpetrating the crimes. Think about how it would actually improve relations in this country. But this is further proof. They're not interested in relations. They're interested in spreading hatred And it's sad. It's sad. It's actually, I'm going to be honest. It's actually sad to watch quote unquote good people think that violence is the answer, because when the other side starts to provoke violence, they will be running for the hills crying of improper treatment. Skedaddle.
So I know y'all heard about that story about the girl who punched that other girl in the face because she was asking her questions. Well, if you don't, or you want to hear my opinion, strap in, because here we go. Basically, there's a chick by the name of Savannah. She works for a company called Live Action. She decided to do an interview on 126th and Lenox Avenue. Now, for my New Yorkers and former New Yorkers, you know that is not the spot to be wanting to interview people, okay?
It's a damn shame. It really shows you that these people don't care. These Democrats don't care what happens to conservatives. Because in their minds, people like Savannah Craven, like Charlie Kirk, well, they deserve it. They deserve it because they have political opinions that we don't like, right? So therefore, again, they deserve when violence happens to them.
She decides to punch her in her face. You don't get a pass for that, Brianna. I'm sorry. You don't get a pass for punching that woman in her face. And you had a weapon in your hand, your cell phone. You clocked her once, you clocked her twice. The second time your cell phone was in your hand, so that's a weapon. So you got assault charges with the weapon. Savannah, I wouldn't take no plea deals. Nope, we ain't taking no plea deals. You gonna pay for what you did because you had no right putting your hands on that woman.
Our pro-choice baddie, that two-piece at anti-choicer provocateur, needs our help. Brianna Rivers, a woman from New York City, was recently arrested after an incident with a well-known forced birther provocateur. The incident happened in Harlem and has drawn national attention, especially after a video of the moment was posted on.
I just think it's indicative of the time we're living in. I think even people who consider themselves journalists want to be a shock jock. Everybody wants to be that gotcha journalist. Everybody wants to go viral. Everybody wants to antagonize the other side.
How many times have this happened in other cases as well too, where somebody has committed a serious crime like this and then it gets dropped down to a misdemeanor and then ultimately is dismissed?
Yeah, well, this is not the kind of laying on of hands that I support. I think that we should not engage in violence. Now, having said that, when you watch the interview, you can see it keeps going up and up and up. And you couldn't forecast what was going to happen, but just the emotion that was being generated in the interview, as a professional, let me know, a spiritual person, and as a journalist, let me know this could not end well.
And I think that is the message that Alvin Bragg sent when he decided that, you know what, we're not going to go after this. Who cares if it was on video? We're going to let this woman walk free because, hey, we don't like Savannah Craven's opinions, right?
Real quick, will you continue doing your advocacy for the unborn? Are you afraid?
Absolutely. I'm not afraid. I'm definitely going to be going out there with some strong men now, but I have to continue to show the reality of so much of what's happened to the left. They've just been corrupted, and make sure that they never win another election. That's my goal. Absolutely. We have to continue using our voice as long as we have one. I have to take extra precautions now. I can't go to any events or even just walk on the street and interview people without security, which is so sad that I have to do. But we see what happens.
All right, so there you go. That's pretty much all of the facts that I can find surrounding this case here. So now at this point, I just want to know, what do you guys think? Me personally, I think maybe this Alvin Bragg's guy could have probably had something against Savannah. Or maybe he's just that terrible at doing his job. But hey, what do I know? I'm just click that reacts. Y'all let me know what y'all think down there.